George drew the diagram at right to represent the number 2 2/5. Look, said Helena, this is the same thing as 12/5. What do you think? Explore this idea in parts A through C below. Is Helena correct? If so, explain how she can tell that the diagram represents 12/5. If she's not correct, explain why not. So before we explain somebody else's thinking, in this case Helena's thinking, we want to know what's given. So going to the diagram, George represented 2 2/5 at the right. So this is George. So let's write this is George's picture. All of it. However, Helena said, well, this is the same as, or the same thing as 12/5. So we want to see it for ourselves. So let's record the two numbers together. So we are going to do letter A. So we want to write it down. So we are exploring, we're given 2 2/5 from George, but we are wondering if it's the same, because Helena thinks it's the same. So I'm putting a question mark. So is that really the same as 12/5? And our job is to explain why, or why not. So looking at their picture, so let's go close. This represents one whole. So let me erase G for George. So this represents one whole number. That also represents one whole number. So I do have 2 so far, and this represents 2 out of, and then we can see there's 5 parts. So together I can see that this is 2 2/5. So I can see George's number, but I don't see Helena's yet. So looking now at just one piece, I'm gonna now count one piece. So how many pieces do we have? So that's kind of what we want to be dealing with. So we have how many pieces like that. So pause the video and count them, the ones that are shaded. So if you counted correctly, you should have 12 pieces, and they're 12/5. So here there's 5 out of 5. That's also 5 out of 5, and that's 2 out of 5. So as a numerator, we're getting 10 and 2 more 12. So if you just counted them again, there will be 12. So in this case, going back to our diagram, I'm gonna say yes, Helena is correct. So pause the video and answer the question in writing. Yes, Helena is correct, because counting just the individual pieces, it is 12/5. I'm moving on to letter B. So if you haven't finished A, pause the video now. Draw a diagram to represent the mixed number 3 2/3. How can you write this as a single fraction greater than 1? So looking at the directions, our job is to draw. That's the verb. So we're drawing a diagram. So we want to use it similar to what we saw in example A. However, our mixed number is 3 2/3. And not only that, they want us to write, so this is the other verb we want to do, so write this number, mixed number, as a single fraction greater than 1. So those are our directions. So let's write the number given. So it's 3 2/3, and that's our mixed number, and draw a diagram. So we can say number given. So in order to draw a diagram, that means 3 whole numbers plus 2/3. So I have to draw 3 separate whole numbers if I'm drawing, so I can represent that. However, I'm looking at, well, each whole number I should divide in 3 parts. So as I'm drawing one whole, second whole number, third whole number, and then I have 2 out of 3. So I'm gonna actually have another whole number, and I have to divide it in 3 parts and only shade 2 of them. So 2 are given. Now because we're shading the representation to represent all 3 numbers together we got a shade to know these are the 1, the 2, and the 3 whole numbers. So this is our diagram representing the given information. Now that we drew that, we did that, we want to write this as a single fraction. So we're just looking for how many little pieces we have in. So little pieces like that. So before we do that, let's divide it the same way. So when we're counting pieces, they need to be divided equally. So what we did in the other one, we divide this as well. So writing it down, I have 3/3 here, divided into 3 pieces because of the denominator. 3/3 there, 3/3 there, and 2 out of 3, or 2/3. So how many is all together? That's how you're able to write the other number, which is called a single fraction. We call it actually improper fraction. So go ahead and record it so it has the 3 and add those numbers. I also want you to try letter C completely on your own. So except you're given this diagram, so you could be drawing in groups of 4 parts. Each whole needs to be 4 parts, and make sure you are including the diagram in all your work.